Hey, what's up, K Underdogs, my guest today.
What up, man?
How you doing, man?
Thanks for having me on, man.
No problem. Thank you for coming, man.
Respect.
We're in Compound Van City with my guest, and he's going to be telling us a bit about how he started rapping and the basics of what he does. So how'd you start rapping and stuff, bro?
Word, how'd I start? Whew, man, I just always like little fucked around with like freestyles and shit, I guess, when I was in high school and we were like drunk and shit or whatever. Mm-hmm. And then when I went to university in Winnipeg, actually, I had some homies out there that I knew from way back in the day, and they had started rapping, just like a little rap group and shit like that. And I had skills on making beats. I had I actually was a band kid for fucking in high school, so I like had drum skills. I could play drums and I could play a little bit of like xylophone shit from percussion. So I like transferred that when I was in the studio to helping out with making beats, and I actually ended up making like better beats than the dudes that were like on the equipment and shit like that. So it just like kind of went from there, and then after that we like recorded rappers. I bought some of my own equipment, and after like listening to rappers, I'm like, I can fucking do that too, and just went from there. You know what I mean? Just wrote some of my own shit, and then I used to rap with this dude named A Hustle back in Winnipeg. He's actually on my first like mixtape or whatever, named The Beginning. So yeah, it's pretty dope.
Sick. And when did you start rapping?
I was a late bloomer actually. I mean, taking it seriously like when I was in university and shit. You know what I mean? I had never written a rap until like I was like 21, 22 kind of thing. Yeah. So like I've only been rapping for like 7 years. About that kind of thing, 8 years. Yeah.
And when did you move out here?
Well, I mean, I went to high school out here and shit like that. So I actually was born in Winnipeg, moved out here when I was 11, or actually no, sorry, I moved out here when I was 12 or 13, and then I went to high school in North Van, and then when I came to going to university, I didn't have the grades to get into SFU or UBC because it was like fucking hella hard that year. Fuck US. No, I'm just joking. So I went to University of Winnipeg. Was like one of the places that I got accepted in, and I was like hella political at the time. Like I was super into like political sciences and shit. So I wanted to kind of go to a school that had like a reputation for politics and shit. And yeah, man. On top of having that, I just knew a bunch of people in Winnipeg because I had come up there, so it would like work perfectly kind of thing. So I just went to university, and I came back here after like 2.5 years of that. I'm like a third year dropout. I was like, fuck that shit. I totally fell out of love with politics, and I started doing music just like for the fun of it, for the hell of it, and like I just decided I was gonna take it seriously and try. You know what I mean? And then I moved out back to Vancouver, and I got a job at like Scotia Bank, and it took up so much of my fucking time. I fucking hated it. I started like honestly like hustling a little on the side or whatever, and stacked up a bunch of money and shit, and I still, just have a couple like side gigs, do cash, but I was able to quit my job and really do fucking full time music and shit like that. So
that's what's up. Who else do you work with in like artist wise or in general?
Right now I'm really starting to work with Tanya Aganaba.
Sick.
She's like the homie too, I mean, we've known each other for like fucking good 5 years now, so, but I mean, she was on my project, and we really kind of have been just vibing a lot lately, musically especially, and we're gonna get in the studio and like make a project together. And then, man, I'm working on getting some pretty good features. I can't really talk about quite yet because it's not quite nailed down for the album. That's like the last thing that's left to do for my album. Is like I already got like the ones I can talk about. I already got like Socrates. I did a song with Julie Black. I don't know if that one's gonna make this album though. Who else? Oh, I did a dope track actually for my mom. Actually, just recently passed away in December of breast cancer. Yeah, it's all shit. But so I did a song for her a while back, and I got Biff Naked, who also had breast cancer. She's like a breast cancer survivor. I don't know if you know who Biff Naked is. She's like a like Juno award-winning like rock artist. Pretty cool. And she's also like a breast cancer spokesperson, so I got her on the album on the song about my mom fighting breast cancer, and I also got like a big choir on the album on like 4 or 5 tracks. I got the Vancouver Film Orchestra, so like I got this big ass string section on like 10 tracks on the album and shit. So yeah, man. And then actually the guy I was working with on the album the most, probably, apart from Jamie Hughes, actually, who's my engineer. I fucking worked with that. Yeah, like Pretty Diesel. Yeah, he's on creative. That's right, North Van kid too. But the guy before I, got into like the mixing process of it and shit, I actually had all these I guess you call them like beat ideas, like just really beginnings of kind of song ideas and beat ideas. And I went into Toronto and I worked with this guy named Todor Kobakov, and he does like all the string arrangements for like Chaos and Metric and Dan Mankin and shit like that. Like he's really, and on top of that he does like scoring for movies and shit like that. So he's like a really accomplished string composer, and on top of that a really accomplished pianist, like a piano player. So I went there and like we wrote and composed like big ass string section parts for all these beats for like, forget, it was like over 10 beats or whatever for the album, and then most of them ended up making the album. But so we went there and like wrote them, and he like, after like we came up with them, in the production studio, he actually like transposed them onto sheet music. And I brought that sheet music back to Vancouver, and I was like trying to figure out who I was gonna record it with. It was either gonna be like some European like string section or do it locally, and we ended up doing that. And it was with the Vancouver Film Orchestra, and they do the strings for like Michael Bublé and Bryan Adams and shit like that. And we recorded it at his studio, actually Bryan Adams' studio, in Gastown. What's it called?
No way.
Yeah, man, everyone knows it. It's like the nicest studio in Vancouver. Just having a fucking like brain fart that I can't remember the studio name. But anyways, one of the nice studios in Vancouver with the Vancouver Film Orchestra. Some of the footage is actually my first video, like from the recording kind of thing, just kind of in there. So yeah, man, it's really got this like big orchestral, like soulful sound to it and shit. And most of it's done. But we're just waiting on a couple features to kind of come through to like top it off. That'll really put it over the edge. So I'm really looking forward to it.
So, man, and for the video work, who do you work with?
I just started working with my new video guy that I'm super stoked on. His name is Rod Scobie. What's his production company? Man, I can't remember anything right now. I'm fucking exhausted. Multipass Productions. And he actually works full time for Disney, basically. He's like a special effects guy that works for a show called Once Upon a Time. I don't know if you've ever heard of that. Yeah, apparently that's like, it's like the Wonderful World of Disney and shit like that, like, but the new version. So he does all like the green screen work on that. Like he builds like what goes on the screen, like the backgrounds. He's like compositor editor. So he was like looking to get into, different stuff, like on his spare time and shit like that, because that's his full-time hustle. And he was really into like making a music video. So we just went from there, and then we did the first one, came out great. Yeah, and so from that on, I was like, fuck it, like let's keep it working. So he's my video guy now. I used to work with Stewie, but we didn't work together that well. Even though it was, we made some great videos, but we just didn't end up getting along that well in the end. So, nothing against him personally or anything like that, but we just have different working styles.
Yeah. That's sick, bro. What do you have coming up soon? What's coming next for you?
I got the album called Lost in Vancouver coming out. That was like the first song that we put out off it, but it's not even a single. We're gonna start putting out like real singles soon. Album Lost in Vancouver. Man, I've been working on it forever. Like what I was telling you with the string section and like everyone from Socrates to like locals like David Moore and Tanya Ganova and people like that are on it. And we got the big choir and the string section. And we're gonna knock down some really dope features that we're just waiting for right now. I wish I could actually tell you guys what it was, but until it's actually, I gotta. But It's fucking, I can't wait for this. So we got videos coming out. We got another video coming out in about 2.5 weeks.
That's it.
And then we just booked the shoot for the 3rd video. I'm actually gonna go film for the 4th video on Sunday at the Run for the Cure, for the Run for the Cure breast cancer, for that song with Biff Naked that I did with my mom kind of thing. So that's a long story. I'll let the video show what we're gonna film there, but it's gonna be a great video as well. So we're gonna go film there on Sunday, as well as it's a bunch of other shit. It's not the whole video, but it's part of the video. And yeah, man, like my focus right now is just kind of putting out solid videos for like solid songs, just to kind of get the momentum going again. Cause I took like 2 years off. Like, I had a good momentum going and shit at first with like, I put out a mixtape, and then I put out a duet project with like a blues artist, and everything got award nominated for Western Canadian Music Awards, and I took me out on tour with Soul and like a whole bunch of times. Yeah. Shit. But then my mom got her breast cancer, like really came back, and like when it wasn't sure like what was gonna happen, like it's really hard to like be like, I'm gonna release a project and go out on the road and shit like that when my mom could die soon. And luckily I did end up having like a couple years at least with her, and I was like her primary caregiver and shit like that. So it was easy to just take my schedules, who gives a fuck, everything fell off. And I spent the last couple of years with her, but she passed away in December, and after some time just getting back on my feet and shit, and just get back and pour everything I had into music. So I can't wait to put this album out, man. It's gonna be definitely something like special. It's definitely gonna be the best shit I ever made for sure. So yeah, man. And people that I'm working with now are super stoked on it, and are the best people I've been working with ever. So I'm stoked on it, man.
That's it.
I'm stoked on it.
One last question I have for you is, where can the audience find your music?
Anywhere, man. Just check me out. CityReal, all one word. CityReal.